You said that was one you had to go and win, but you couldn't get the job done. What was the message to the girls after the game?
Yeah, really the message has been the same over the last couple of weeks, and we talked about it last week, just competing for 40 minutes, and unfortunately we weren't able to do that. Mount Gambier came in and they were just, they had a really rough day travel as we knew, but just were delighted to be able to have the opportunity to play, and they just played at a tempo that we couldn't maintain.
Is there pressure there, enough pressure on them when they're in offence, do you think?
No, there's not. And that's been our biggest challenge really all season, is just guarding the ball, whether it's full court or whether it's in the half court. And you can see that teams, the scout on Hobart is attack us off the dribble. And we haven't been able to contain the ball. We're a bit slow rotating. So in saying that, we had an outstanding session on Monday. It was definitely our best session on the training court for the year. So the group is still positive, and even though that contending for a championship looks highly unlikely for us this year, we want to really finish off this season strong.
How do you move that good work on the training court to a game?
Yeah, well, it does come to a point that we can talk about things, day in, day out, week in, week out, and now it comes down to action. So that's what the players have been talking about as well, and we've been fortunate to have a couple of athletes back from US College who'll be training with us over the next couple of months, and that really lifts the intensity at training. But really, we need to get the job done on the weekends. It's not necessarily about winning games, because we do have Taylor Roberts out and Matty Garrick's not back, but we need to see improved performance on a weekly basis.
Who are those couple of players you mentioned there?
Taylor Mole is back for a couple of months, and Taya Stevenson as well. So from a coaching standpoint, I'd love to have both of them suiting up, but it's just not possible around college restrictions and rules. But really pleased to have them back here and helping us out on the training track.
Bit of a disrupted week, mate. How's that changed your planning, I guess, when you've got to switch from one team to another?
Yeah, well, from a planning point, Launceston played over the weekend, so we have an opportunity to look at their game. We're expecting Kelsey Griffin to come in, who's a WNBA player, played for Australia, MVP of the WNBL championship winner. So the way I look at it, it's an outstanding opportunity for our players to compete against an athlete like Kelsey Griffin. And we know the Torns are really rolling right now, so for us it's getting on with that job. We're travelling up to Launceston, which changes our week and the day that we're playing, but we're just really thankful that we do get the opportunity to play, because our colleagues in Victoria are all sitting home, so we certainly feel for them.
Yes, Keely tore it up last time, but she won't be there. But Griffin comes in, takes it's a lot for a lot, really.
Yeah, well, it is. Keely Froling, unavailable. You bring Kelsey Griffin in, they're not losing anything at all. Griffin's averaging over 21 points and 12.5 rebounds a game at a really good percentage. So she's elite, and what that tends to do is lift the players around you. But the challenge is there for our players to actually embrace that rather than shying away from that challenge.
Talk about the challenges of getting you guys to play 40 minutes. Obviously, playing against your biggest rivals would be a pretty easy way to motivate them, you would think. What do you expect?
It should be a no-brainer. Chargers, Tornadoes games, Chargers, Northwest Thunder games. If you need to have anything extra to get up for those games, then probably shouldn't be playing in this league. So, I've got no doubt that our players will be. The first game of the season in the opener was a real different one for us. We had players sort of coming in last minute to try and have enough to play, but there should be no need for extra motivation this week to play Launceston.
Haven't you said Shana's form this year?
Yeah, Shana had a long injury layoff, and we know that she can shoot the ball at this level. And the challenge for her this year is we don't have the Kathleen Shears and other imports around that are going to get her open looks. And we've talked about it, Shana and I, that the opposition scout is coming right at her, and we saw the way Mount Gambier were defending her in the first half. Particularly, there was no space. I've got to try and work out ways to get Shana open, but she also has to work out ways to tackle that, and it's a good opportunity for her. She's a contracted player this year, and we need her to be firing, and we absolutely believe that she can get that done for us.
I'm not sure how many she's averaging this year points-wise, but how many is she averaging? How many do you need her to be averaging?
Yeah, well, it's not so much about averaging, but she is averaging 11 points a game and has been around the 15 the last couple of years. But it's about what else she can bring to the team at the defensive end, and being a leader and a creator out there. And I think if we look at Ellie Collins, has had a tough start to the season, but has really turned that around and embraced that role. And really the opportunity is there for Shana to do the same.
Have you heard much from the league about what might actually happen going forward? With the sort of looks like things aren't getting much better in Victoria in the short term.
Yeah, the club's in daily conversations with the league, and at the moment we really don't know. It's been it was a crazy off season, a crazy start to the season, and we thought then things were settling, but now it is really week to week, and at the moment we're not sure when the Victorian games will start going. This is the last game that we could play against Launceston, given we've already played them once. So really the only other option would be for us to say go to a Mount Gambier or possibly Albury, but we know with COVID that it's tough to get across borders right now. So we'll play Saturday night, and then we really have to just stay in contact with the league about what's next.
Do you have any fears about travelling at the moment as a group? Obviously you can get stranded anywhere at any time if something pops up.
Yeah, I'm certainly not in a hurry to travel, and you have to consider that this is basketball, but we also have families and commitments around here. So we really need to make sure that's safe for our players and our staff, and ultimately basketball. While this is a semi-professional league, I think we need to consider the health implications as an absolute priority.
If say, the Victorian lockdown goes for like a month and then there's a talk of a restarting the season, would you consider like scrimmaging with the Tornadoes?
We'd consider all options. I think probably as a starting point we'd consider what we could do locally, whether that's engaging perhaps with Basketball Tasmania and playing against the boys' state development program athletes. There's definitely those sort of options. So we are fortunate that we still can be on court, and we'd look at if there is a mini break during the season, how we can maximise that and possibly use that to springboard into the second half of the season.